G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast, and make sure you check out Butts Mom Premium, where you can catch another episode of the podcast just for the premium members. It's fucking amazing. It's uncensored. It's fucking cocks are out, dicks are swinging in the air. It's fucking unbelievable stuff. You will not believe what we got up to on Butts Mom Premium. No cocks are out. Just buttholes.
Just buttholes this week.
Buttholes this week.
Doodles next week.
Doodles next week. Make sure you're there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Butterfield Effect. I've got a massive guest here with me right now. We fucked up with the timing. He's got no idea over in New Zealand, you people, with your times.
We only care about fucking sheep.
Well, this is what I hear. I'm trying to clear this up today. And Joshy Nielsen won't be with us. He's stuck doing scaffolding work, which is what he does for a gig, my co-host, which is why we bring Kiwis over to Australia, is to do scaffolding work. So he's doing a good gig over there. But I have the great man. I got Uncle Tics here, a TikTok champion. Bro. He's fucking everywhere. If you spend time on TikTok, you know him from your For You page. If you don't, he's a Kiwi creator and he's fucking killing it. G'day, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, cunt. Good cunt. I'm glad to be here, actually. Yeah, God, I have an ugly as fucking fat as pimple here, cunt.
No, you look good, bro. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, bro. I haven't fucking lost any weight lately. Just been gaining because all I do is sit here and fucking play games. But hey, I'm not complaining.
So, I mean, the lockdown's probably been pretty good for you, considering, you know, you've been able to really create a lot, right? You've been creating heaps during the lockdown.
Through lockdown, we created a video every day or 2 videos a day. We didn't do anything. I was getting paid to sit on my ass and work and do bugger all. That's pretty much what we did. I couldn't work. My boss had no work, but they still had to legally pay me. So I'd just sit around all day. And then I thought, bro, you know what would be really cool? Because Uncle Jack, he'd always go to me, bro, do you want to make a video, bro? I'm like, no, not really, bro. No, you know, what's your idea? And I was always so skeptical. And then they're like, no, you should do this. And here we go.
Yeah.
The rest is fucking history. All 3 million of them.
3 mil now.
Oh, almost. Yeah, bro. It'll be by end of this week or next week. It should be at 3 million. That's my goal. I mean, it's been growing like 35 to 40,000 people a week. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's stupid. It's really overwhelming, bro.
Isn't that crazy? How does that make you feel that you got all these eyes on you? Does it freak you out?
Yeah, I get really overwhelmed because I'm the type of person that doesn't really like attention. But growing up, I steered away from that sort of shit. But now that I'm like the second largest account in the country, bro. It's very overwhelming. Even on the street, bro, you get so much attention from kids, adults. It's just everyone wants to say hello. Yeah, but it's very, very overwhelming, bro. Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. You get to push your personal brand. And I've got a mate of mine who was on Married at First Sight. I don't know if you've probably got that show over on NZ.
Yeah, bro. The girls watch it. The Australian versions all the time when it comes out over here.
So Ryan, who was on Married at First Sight a few years ago, he's a mate of mine and opens for me in some of the shows that I do around the country. And a great dude, wants to get involved in creating things and sort of pushing his own sort of brand. And I keep saying to him, man, you just got to make content, something.
Yeah.
Give people a reason to give a shit about you. And he's like, I'm a bit nervous and all that type of stuff. Would you have any advice for someone who's looking at doing some sort of creation online?
Yeah, get the fuck over it and just do it.
Yeah, 100%. That's it, isn't it?
There's a bridge, bro. So I'll tell you now. And I actually speak about this quite a lot in my stories, bro. A lot of rangatahi in Māori means like teenagers and kids. They get on this bridge, bro, and they can't get off it, and they don't want to go over to the other grass that's greener on the other side. So they'll go, I really want to stream. I'm like, okay, cool, bro. Do you have a PC? No, I don't. And I'm like, do you have a phone? They're like, yeah. I'm like, stream on your phone. And they're like, wow, that's not good enough. I'm like, have you tried? They're like, no. I'm like, you don't need the best shit in the world to be able to stream. This is just the story I always give them. They're like, oh, so what do I do? I'm like, go make yourself a Twitch account tonight. Tell all your friends, bro. Post it all over your Facebook, your Instagram. That was ugly, Tick. And then get on it, bro, and just play fucking Clash of Clans. And there you go. You got your first 20 viewers. And then try and get affiliate and then just go from there and then start getting paid to stream. And all these kids are like, is it that easy? I'm like, bro, honestly, I mean, going into a Twitch stream would be easier if you had a couple of thousand followers somewhere else, because you can try and bring them over and mainstream them every week, every day, bring them in to watch you. But right now, it's just that kickstart. It's that get over the bridge, stop being a pussy cunt, and just do it.
Yeah.
It's honestly it, bro. Your mate, I'm going to say this to your mate now. Honestly, bro, the sooner you start, the better you'll be, because yes, you'll have ups and downs when you start. There's nothing perfect to what you do, but it's about getting your ass over that bridge and just beginning. And once you begin, all the ideas start flowing, and then you're pretty much the next Jimmy Jackson.
Yeah.
Or something out the gate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, mate, when I started doing this, I was opening for people like Frenchie and Josh Wade and those type of guys, and they were.
Do you know I actually found out about you before I found out about Frenchie? This was years ago.
Really?
This was years and years ago. You were really little though on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I follow you on my Lathan's Life account from years ago. I'll have to recheck that. Don't quote me on that. But I remember seeing your shit. I remember seeing a Crackerbass video. Don't ask me what it was now. It was years ago. But yeah, I remember seeing a video of you, and I was like, "Oh, that's Crack Up. That's Crack Up." And then, yeah, as you grow, you kind of forget about other people, and then you end up linking up again. You're like, "Oh, cuz, fucking, I remember you." But yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
And that's why it's good to sort of have these connections too, and just say like, you know, just say g'day and all that type of stuff, because you will run into people down the line. But I mean, I started off. Yeah. I started off making 2 videos a week, and it took me 6 months to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then it took me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then it took me like, I don't know, I think it was a year and a half to get to 100,000. And then after that, it just, you sort of get in the rhythm, you know, like my biggest concern when I first started out making videos was, how am I going to get a video out a week? And then you get to a point now where I'm like getting 5 out on 2 different channels and Instagram shit and podcasts and that. And, you know, it just becomes what you do. And I mean, you'd be the same with TikToks. Like how much content are you pumping out a week?
Oh, not much lately. I've been real slack, bro. It's only because I've been so busy. I've been so caught up in streaming and that my time management's been so trash. So like when I come to do something, I'm like, oh man, maybe I don't stream tonight because I want to build 5 videos and get them out over the next 3 days. Yeah. Because what I used to do was I used to be on the cuff. I used to have 7 videos always backed up, and then I just get them done. And I was like, okay, this is like, I'm really excited to do this. And I get them out, and then I've got to sacrifice one thing or the other. So lately I've been worrying about Twitch more than TikTok. I mean, I'm established on TikTok. I don't need to do anything more now. I've pretty much reached my peak. I mean, I'd love to be the biggest account in the country. That's what I'm going to go do. But once I've got there, what more do I do? I've reached my goal. I've done everything I needed to do, smashed all my goals. I'm just like, cool. Okay. Well, we'll just keep growing then. So you start posting twice a week instead of 7, but it's so, it drops so drastically because some people might not like that video and that won't get 2 million views. And you're like, okay, I have to go back to the drawing board. But you know what? Tonight, instead of streaming, I'm going to go home and do a cooking video, and hopefully that blows up tomorrow or later on tonight when I post it. It's just my time management is so trash right now. And it starts to take a wear on my life. Like a toll on my life, sorry. So, yeah, it stresses me out when I don't get videos out on time or post, bro. Yeah. Like when I messaged you earlier, I was like 3:30 my time, and you're like, yeah, actually it's 3:30 our time. I'm like, fuck, I just wasted a fucking hour I could have been editing, and I could have posted that up in 2 hours from now. So I was gutted. I was like, that's not your fault. That was me because I read that wrong. So I was like, man, I'm so gutted at myself. I should have done better, but no, well, we're here. So that's main fucking thing.
It doesn't get easier. I'm like, 3 or 4 years into the game now. You just have to get better at time management, but still you have days where it's like, fuck, I could have done that, or you get shitty at yourself because, let's say, for example, I've got to go. The other day we had to take the dog to the vet just to get a checkup, and they were late. They were late, and so that throws out my afternoon, and then I miss this and I miss that, and it's like, that throws you around. But
it sucks, bro.
But it's a good job because you can only rely on yourself. And I found that early on. Like, if you can just rely on yourself, then you can get anything done. And, if you know how to edit, you know how to film. And that's the biggest one. If you don't know how to film and edit, then you're going to struggle doing these things. Yeah, I agree with that. I think another thing is, like, a lot of people overthink the editing process. I mean, I'm a perfectionist, bro. When you see a video go out, that video has probably seen 5 hours of my edit time. No shit. Yeah. 5 hours. So when every video that goes out, especially if it comes to a skit and I'm making it with my friends, it might take us an hour and a half. My friends will pump out skits like no tomorrow, but I go and subtitle all mine for the disabled and people who have illnesses. People that, can't really listen, they might like to read. People that are deaf, they read the words that I say, the shit that I do. So I go out of my way to spend hours on building
content that relates to everyone, not just one set of people. Like, I remember a couple months ago, actually it was like half a year ago, I saw a video online. It was of this deaf girl. You've probably seen it if you're scrolling through, and it like starts with sound and it just goes out. It just cuts out, and you're like, "Is my sound off?" And at the very end of the video, she's like, "No, this is what I hear every day on TikTok because no one uses closed captions." And I was like, "This is why I've been doing this for a year. Like, come on, cunt. This is why I put closed captions." That was a bad one. That's why I put closed captions on you. Yeah, that's a good fucking TikTok video. You're gonna have to fucking beat that though.
We'll bleep out one of those words. So that's probably something we should talk about. And if you don't know who Uncle Tics is, you are someone with Tourette's, and right. You have uncontrollable tics that manifest themselves in a way that basically, yeah. And I have a bit of a relation to Tourette's. I have a epilepsy disorder or an epileptic disorder.
Shut up, do you? No, you're just like me.
Just like you. My point is here, where I can't control what happens to my head and the brain takes over and you have no control at all. So when I see someone like yourself having a tic, not being able to control it, I can't relate in the way that I can relate a little bit, not quite to the point. Like I'm not saying that, hey, listen, I know exactly what you're going through, but at least to the point where I can understand that the brain is fucking insane. And
it's a crazy thing.
So take me through Tourette's. What happens when you're a young kid? Is this something that manifests overnight? Does it come out when you start talking? How does it work?
Well, to be honest, I don't have the answer to that. It's a great question. It just happens. I know when it started. It started when I was at the age of 4, but I don't know how it began. There's no answers to Tourette's. There's nothing. They're still trying to figure that out now to this day. Maybe that's something they figure out in 20 to 40 years, when we're, old and crusty. But it's just one of those things, you don't know until it's found. And I know it's a neurological disorder in the frontal lobe of your brain, and that's the best I can pretty much say. The tics are like sneezes. That's a tic, because when I say sneezes, sometimes do that. But it just manifests in you, and if you don't let it come out, it builds up. So and my brain just does it by itself, and it just kind of comes out.
So I've heard people say before that it builds up and they have to release it. Can you explain what that means?
It's pretty much like a sneeze, like I just said before. If you can't get it out, and it'll just go bang, and now it's out. It's like, right. But and I've got sort of Tourette's where coprolalia, where I'll call you a cunt, a fucking minge, fucking and shit all over the world. I'll just yell shit at you. But there's only a certain amount of people that have coprolalia. I think it's like 10% of the population of people that have Tourette's, which is quite a small percentage, really. Like in New Zealand, it's like 1 in every 5,000 people that I think that have it. So I live in a city of 250,000, so there's a couple of thousand kids with it. But it's quite an interesting thing to talk about and learn about. And if you guys want to learn more, honestly, I've posted 500 videos, so go fun.
You're very open with it too, and I think that's the best way to deal with that shit.
You have to be. You can't be sitting here and be sheltered. I used to be super sheltered in life, and then as soon as I opened up, it let the whole world know. Like TikTok brings through like 32 million views a month. So it's a big thing. It's a massive thing. And it's teaching heaps of kids and adults all over the world what Tourette's is. And yet they might laugh at me. Most of them might laugh at me and not with me, but I don't give a shit. At least you're aware about it now. That's the main thing.
Yeah, of course. But you're going to say something that people will laugh at. And I guess that's the better way to deal with it rather than just freaking out about it.
Used to be like that.
But you know what I mean? Like people are going to go, if you say something outrageous, people are going to giggle. Is that the best way to handle it, or should we just like continue the conversation like nothing happened?
Usually just continue. I'm actually posting a series right now, 4-part series on TikTok, and it's 12 ways to help your mate with Tourette's or someone you may know. And it's like, that question's brought up, and I'm just like, actually, you know what? Fuck you. You can go fucking watch my video. I'm going to post it later. No, honestly, no shit. I'll say it. But it's like, if I take it in front of you, just let it be. Who cares? And keep talking and let me regain what I was trying to get out. Might say a couple of things, but after that, I'll get the whole story out and you can understand where I'm going from. Just ignore it. You just got to let the world know that, I just yelled at you, but like, hey, I'm going to continue this conversation. And like you just did then, you just listened to me after I checked. Henry, it's got to let it be, let it roll through. And then, yeah. But sometimes I say some stupid shit, bro, mid-conversation, and my friends will crack up and I'm just like, okay, I broke it. And then I'll just keep talking and they'll all shut up.
Yeah.
So, they'll all crack up laughing. And then I'll be like, but anyway, and then they'll be, okay, back to serious now, what we're talking about. So, yeah.
I think that's something that mates can obviously have. Like if people know you, they go, fucking righto, that was a good one. And then you just move on with the situation. I know
you have
that.
To,
For me personally, my brother, and it's not the same thing, obviously, but he's autistic and makes very loud noises in public. And he,
fucking autistic cunt.
He will, like, in public, people will just stare. And I've always said to people, I said, if you're staring, just give them a smile instead of just staring like deathly into their eyes. And I guess if you're out in public and you're making loud tics, how does that stare feel?
I don't even look at them, bro. I know everyone's looking at me. I just ignore them. Yeah. Because I'm way cooler than you. I'm louder than you, cunt. Nah, that's how I usually think. I look at the ground and just yell. And then my missus will be like, oh, that old lady's looking. I'll be like, yeah, she can suck my fucking ass as well. Oh, bitch. And we're like, okay, we've got to go. Let's move. But it's funny. Like, for example, when we go out to dinner, I've noticed this a lot, especially with my flattened friends. It's like, especially my close friends, that if I stand up and move, nine times out of 10, they'll stand up and move. So that's the cool thing about like having really good friends like that, or I'm the oldest of the group, so yeah, the old boy. But it's like, say for example, we just finished our feed and we'll be sitting around, we finished our beers. If I stand up and go, okay, and move, 9 times out of 10, my friends will stand up and move as well, and we'll just leave. So if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'll let the table know, and they already know I'm uncomfortable, and we'll leave. But it sucks because it's always about me, and I don't mean to make it about me. But like if I'm in an uncomfortable situation, you guys can either sit there and keep enjoying yourself, but usually I will stand up. My missus will notice I've stood up, and we'll move, and then usually the flat will just follow. Or like my friends will just follow with me. So yeah,
so why would you stand up and move? Are you just at a point where you feel really uncomfortable in the situation?
Well, I've been there. So I've been there for an hour and I've been screaming and there's other tables around. If I'm going to get up and move, I'm going to leave now. And they understand that because we're like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, we're leaving. But yeah, it is good to sometimes let them go have dinner because they have the longer dinners without me. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, this is out of focus. What I'm trying to say is it's really good to have loyal friends. That's what I'm trying to say. Friends that you can trust and friends that know they'll put you first. Like I put them first over anything. If I'm uncomfortable, they'll understand and they'll sense that, and then we'll just get up and leave. So that's the cool thing about having really good friends, and especially my flat. They're amazing people. Yeah.
You're flat. So is that a Kiwi term?
Yeah.
Oh, you're flatmate.
Yeah, flatmates.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because
very Kiwi.
I heard you say minge before. I thought that was a British term.
Minge, that's fucking is British because I have heaps of like, that's a Kiwi term. It's also very Australian as well, yeah. But it is that originated in England, yes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I've never heard someone say minge in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, stupid minge. Yeah, bro, it always happens. It's like my fucking number one word on my list. Let me suck your minge, cunt. It's cracker bears.
Yeah. So where to now with this? Because you've been so open on TikTok. Is this the main way that you look to continue your career, is through basically exposing yourself in a way to sort of allow other people to understand how Tourette's works, mix in some comedy with that, just basically push the person who you are and just continue with it? Is it going to be just TikTok? Are you moving on to YouTube, Facebook, or is it live shows? What are you looking at doing?
I'd love to do a live show, bro. When I come over to Australia, I'd love to come to one of your shows.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be cool, as I'm actually coming over to Aussie real soon. There we go. So we can catch up. But honestly, bro, I don't know. I'm just kind of letting the waka do its thing. Let the boat do its thing, bro. I have no. I've done all my goals. We're supposed to do a live tour, but COVID kept mucking that up, and we invested all our time and effort into it. And we kind of ended up bailing on the idea. We didn't know how it would go, or how, doing a TikTok tour. I mean, that would be cool as fuck, but maybe that's something for the future. But yeah, man, I post on YouTube every second day. YouTube obviously isn't as big because I don't drive people there. People just find me. If I'm there, I'm there. If you're not, But yeah, that's grown like maybe 3,000 people over the last month. But again, it's just I have an agency that does that, so I don't even worry about it. Just like my Facebook. But to be honest, I have no idea where I'm gonna go from here, my bro. Isaac. Yeah, I have no fucking idea, bro. What do you reckon I should do? I know exactly what you're gonna say, but anyway. Oh, I lied to you. I'm on Twitch now. So yeah.
I think it's good to diversify. Because if you lose your you lose your TikTok account tomorrow for whatever reason, then it's a scary situation to face. I'm sure you've got a lot of followers on Facebook and that, and people already know who you are, so they'll find you wherever you happen to be. But that's something that I've always been scared of. Is like and I always look after YouTube. If they ask me to do a speaking event or whatever, I do a few of those. I always say, yep, absolutely, because if push comes to shove, maybe they'll look after me if I say something that, if I'm being an asshole or whatever, and I say something, maybe they'll, not turn a blind eye, but at least try and work it through rather than just delete me off the face of the earth.
Yeah. No, understandable. Well, we've got large platforms on other places now. Like I've got Instagram following now. So you. Yep. It's just like it's one of those things. I can tell you now, I probably won't be deleted ever off TikTok. I talk to them every week, every second day.
They look after you?
Yeah, I message them. I literally talk to. I have like a manager or someone from TikTok that looks after us, and her name's Sim. I used to have a girl called what's her name? Lucy? No, I can't remember now. She's going to get upset if she watches this. But there was a couple of them. There's like 3 girls who used to look after me. And if I have a problem, if anything was deleted or taken down, I'd just take a screenshot and send it straight to them. Can you sort this out? And if not, can you tell me why it can't be posted? But yeah, over the last month, I had a lot of troubles with TikTok. Everything I posted was being taken down. Everyone. Hence the fact that kind of killed my buzz for posting.
Why were they being taken down?
Just certain sexual words they didn't like. I'm like, but mate, they're like, oh, but your girlfriend. I'm like, so it's my missus. And I can give you a video right now. She doesn't care anything I say or what we put online. That's me. I can't help that. They're like, oh, yeah, can you just cut that out? I'm like, can you cut out this sexual reference? I'm like, why would I do that? And they're like, oh, because TikTok don't like it. I'm like, well, that's lying. Why would I take my tics away? Just like saying the N word. That's the only word I've ever cut out because every time I'd post it, they'd mute me. But I'm like, you can go over to America and all these people are saying it 24/7 on all their TikToks and they're not getting taken down. But as soon as I say it and I can't help it, which it's a commonly used word in my vocab every day, which I can't help, they take me down. I'm just like, that's bullshit. That's ableism. Like you're sheltering me for something I can't help. Like, you want me to post, you want me to be out there, you want me to grow and be millions and millions strong, but you take me down every single day. It's like, come on. Don't fucking beat around the bush with me. I'm sick of this shit. And they're like, oh, no, we'll sort it out. And then I was like, I'm going to leave this app. I'm sick and tired of it. I'll go build another app on Triller. I'll contact Triller right now and say them verify me, and I'll go post all 400 of my videos on there. And all you have to do is help me grow. And they'll do it because they've already contacted me about shit like that. And they're like, yeah. Well, we'll sort it out. But hey, over the last week, I've been really well. Hence the fact I haven't really posted much. Everything gets kind of taken down. But there you go. The reason why I haven't really been posting much.
Do you think that's because people don't know who you are and they just hear you say you drop the N-word or whatever and they go, well, this bloke can't say that? Yeah, I think they don't know and it's a mass report and Twitch, fucking TikTok just goes, oh, fuck, I can't deal with all these reports. Let's just get rid of this video sort of thing. Maybe.
The fact that I say, kia ora, my name is Uncle Tics and I have Tourette's, every single video I do, come on, let's not play a stupid game of fucking cat and mouse here, cunt. Don't be stupid. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what I'm going to say. Let it be, or I just won't post anymore. But they've been real lenient of me lately. So, and I've got a lot of Carla, that's the girl's name. Carla and Sim, they're really nice people. They always tend to my worries if I've ever got any. But yeah, they've opened up a lot of amazing gates for me, but they've also closed a lot of like doors, as in like I can't really do live talks with them. I can't do live cooking shows with them because of the words I use, but they want me to do it. And it's just like, China won't like this. The company's going to shut that down straight away. So
could you do it on YouTube, do you think?
Oh yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, don't give a shit. I say gay, homophobic slurs all the time and they don't care, just as long as I'm happy. They know that I can't help it. It's just, oh man, TikTok, I think, are the most PC company in the world, and they're ruining their app by being too PC and not being open enough. They're like, oh, but we've got kids on here. Well, 13 and up is how old you're supposed to be on the app. You've got 9-year-olds fucking running rampant on the app. It's like, cunt. Yeah, that's your problem, not mine. You know, there's a certain scene, or even put like restricted audiences, you know, for elder people like over the age of like 16 to be able to watch it. Yeah, mature audiences to understand. Yeah, that might be better. But
Man,
I don't know, bro.
I started posting to TikTok for a while there, and I gave up a little bit. I had, you know how on your like your home screen or whatever, homepage, whatever you want to fucking call it, I had like, you have like 9 videos you can see, the last 9 videos. They were all taken down for harassment and bullying, and I was just like, oh fuck, like this is not the app for me.
Hey, you get over it, eh? It's because the kids don't understand comedy, bro, and then they'll take you down, they'll report it. That's what they do. They go around and just report all your shit.
And I mean, it's the same with like Twitter and shit. Like people have seen things that I've said and taken them for gospel. Like these are really true things that I believe. And I'm like, mate, half the shit I say on stage is completely opposite to the human being that I am. Yeah. And it is humor, so obvious. Sorry, mate. What'd you say?
It's dark humor.
Yeah. It comes from a place of shit you would say at the pub around your close mates. And I try and spread that because that's the type of person that I am. That's the jokes that I like. The darker, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, jokes about Tourette's, bro. I love that when I'm on stage and someone cracks a Tourette's joke. I'm just like, right place and right time. I love that. There was a TikToker, real famous. I think he's an Indian dude.
Yeah,
and he posted a Tourette's skit not that long ago. Bro, it went viral, bro. I think it's got over 1 million views now. But bro, honestly, it was so funny. And everyone's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, comedians. Everyday motherfuckers thinking they're funny by doing tics on screen. Comedians. You fellas are up here. This is your job to be a funny cunt and make a proper video and professional video, which was professionally filmed by like proper cameras and like a proper setup and like, you know, all that. So it was properly done and it was really funny. I was like, that is good. That is proper comedy. You can't sound out here laughing at us. You're laughing with us. You're taking the mick out of it and that's okay. And then there's these kids who go and make like fake tic videos. They're like, oh, I've got Tourette's, but. I'm like, no, that's not funny because you're laughing at us. You're not laughing with us. You need to learn that. Yeah. So if you want to make a Tourette's joke on stage, that's funny. Like I genuinely enjoy that, you know, but if you're a comedian, you're a professional, proper comedian. These kids think it's okay to go and do it. It's like, if you don't have it, you shouldn't talk about it. Unless you're a comedian and that's your job. You know, dark humor is your thing. Go hard. You know, I always see Shooter Williamson getting himself in hot water. And I'm always like, what did he say that really pissed someone off? If you go to a comedy show, why are you so mad? Like, get the fuck over yourself, cunt. It's a comedy show. Yeah. The more fucking slurs and shit you say, the better. Yeah. I mean, there's some things you probably wouldn't talk about, but you know, yeah.
Oh, I mean, if it's hateful, like if you attack a person because they're black and you're full of hate, then that's not okay.
No, that's right.
What sort of measurement you take is whether or not people are laughing with it. Exactly, if they're laughing at it and it's hateful and they're like, yes, like, you know, the full Nelson Muntz and The Simpsons, like, ha ha, like you're a bad, you know, I'm laughing at you, and that whole sort of, you know, the punching down where you're really trying to hurt someone, then that's not cool. Yeah. But you can punch down at people and make fun of people in a sense where, you know, you're attacking a whole group or whatever about a certain thing. And if people laugh, then it's comedy. It's funny. If they don't laugh, then fucking throw it out. Don't use it.
Yeah.
Mate, I had a Tourette's joke that I did for a year. Sorry?
Yep. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I want to hear this. But I just got a good story about this after a guy, but I want to hear you first. Sorry, my bad.
I've got a Tourette's joke that I did for about a year and a half ago. And I did it after I flew to Broken Hill in the middle of New South Wales, near the South Australian border. And there was a dude in the crowd.
Gays. Sorry.
No, it's true. South Australia. And I did a show there. It's a mining town. It's where they shot Mad Max. It's a shithole, absolute shithole. Dude in the front row, the lights go down, I go out, 2 minutes in, he starts making very loud screams. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he starts telling me, he said, I got Tourette's. Absolutely true story. And throughout the whole show, every 2 minutes, every time I would tell a joke and people would laugh, he would have a tick about 30 seconds later or maybe 10 seconds later. And it became this whole... Cool. He was a legend, great guy off the show, and I did a whole bit about him, and we actually, I animated it, and I put it on YouTube. You should check it out afterwards.
Yeah, I will check it out. You send me a link. I'm excited.
I will. And man, I talked to him, and he enjoyed, you know, me ribbing him on stage, because if I don't address it, Like people are like, why would you address it? Why would you,
why would you ignore
make
it?
fun of him? I said, I didn't make fun of him. I was bringing him in, involving him in the show because he spent his whole life trying to hide, trying to be small. Let's bring 100%. Him out. And he was laughing, having a great time. I gave him some merch. We had a beer afterwards. Man, it was beautiful. It was the one thing that I remember about that town and that show is meeting that young man. And I love
that's comedy,
that.
bro. That's good comedy where you can make obviously the funny thing is that cunt went to that fucking show knowing he was going to be ripped on because he's in the front fucking row. It's like, cunt, come on. If you're going to go in the front row, you're going to be ripped on. Yeah, that's why you go there.
Well, how's this? He said to me, mate, I haven't been out of the house. I haven't been to a show in like 5 or 6 years to do anything because I had to overcome my anxiety to come here and see the show. And I was so stoked to hear that. I was so happy.
Can I tell you a story? Same kind of aspect at a comedy show. So there's, do you know? I don't know if you might know him. He's a comedian from Aotearoa called Joey Damon. He's this big brown fella. He's a really nice guy, Māori guy. And bro, his comedy, bro, is he's a funny dude, bro. And when you hang out with him, bro, he's a funny cunt to be around. He's witty, too witty for you, which pisses me off. He's always got an answer for everything, but he always make you laugh. It's like, oh man, I go to dinner with him sometimes. But he's a really well-known comedian, and most of my friends I hang out with are very good friends with him. He had a show here in Hamilton, and he sold out his show. He sold out both the shows, and I went to his show, and that was the biggest thing for me to do. I'd never been to a comedy show in my life. It was just last year, so I'm 27, I can name now, and it was towards December when we were going out of lockdown. And I went into a show, bro, and I was ticking the whole time. I was expecting him to roast me, but he didn't. And after the show, I was in the front row. I had away at the back with Uncle Jack and that. And after the show, I was like to him, how come he didn't rip me? He's like, I don't want to be that mean to you, bro. I was like, no, I came tonight. I overcame my anxiety to come tonight for you to go, oh, yeah, that's just Uncle Tics, he's got Tourette's. Fucking retards. Fuck. Or something like that, rip something on me. I was literally waiting for it. And I've been to a couple of his comedy shows, and he just won't do it. I'm just like, can't do it. This is your chance to bring out a Tourette's joke and make people laugh. Do it. I want you to do it. He's like, nah, I'll hold that for a rainy day. I'm all right. That's cool. But anyway, I went to this is you were going on a bit before about making people laugh. Like if no one laughed and it stopped, we had a really awkward moment at a show, and it was about some Mormons. And even just saying Mormons, it cracks me up. But anyway, we went to a show, and if it doesn't make people laugh, and people are like, you kind of stop and just throw it out and start again. Let's build a new plate. Palette. Let's do something different. But he kept going, and it got funnier and funnier. But then I was like, So these Mormons went to Asia. I don't know what part of Asia. Might have been Vietnam. And they were doing their like rounds. You know how Mormons go and do their rounds and shit. And I was like, that's cracker bears. And he's like, and she's like, yeah. But then I saw a dead body, and that's where it went. Woof. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, so what was the first part you saw? And I was like, can't see, you smiled because it's funny. Now that I look back at it, it's actually really funny. But bro, the crowd was dead silent. I cracked up. Me and Jack thought that was funny as. Did you see a head? And she's like, yeah, I saw arm first. And I was like, this is like on the cusp, bro. I'm like, do we pull out? Does he pull out? No, bro, he committed. So yeah, I cracked up when you said, yeah, if it's not good enough, just throw it out, because it related back to this moment me and Joey had, or that was a full full theater of people. There was like 150 people in there. And, oh, man, it just got to a moment when no one laughed. And he was laughing. He's like, that's pretty funny. Like, fucking hell. It was too deep, bro. But this Mormon chick had seen a dead body on the side of the road while doing her mission. And she didn't know what to do. So she kind of just walked past and left it. What do you do? And anyway, it got really dark and deep. And I was just like, sit on my face. God, it was good comedy, bro. I really enjoyed it. But yeah. Oh, sorry. I just had to say that. One of those moments.
No. One of the real skills with stand-up is to be able to dig a hole so deep, lose a room, and then bring them back.
Yeah, you can't get out of it, but you can go to, you cheeky
You just sometimes you got to like just completely give up, and other times you can dig through and come out the other side. Man, I've had shows where I was one of my mates, this bloke called Kyle Legacy, who's from Liverpool. He's from Liverpool. Liverpool, and he's lived in Sydney for years. He's a really good guy. Got an afro, real skinny white dude, great guy. And I've known him for a long time. And he teed me up in Perth. He said, like, I've just done all these great shows, sold out all the shows. My first comedy festival in Perth, and I was doing 2 shows a night, and it was like 12 o'clock at night. And he tells me to come to this room where they're doing like, you know, just like a room full of maybe 6 or 7 people, real late night show. And he said, man, what I want you to do, I want you to do your darkest, deepest, horrible shit. I was like, okay, cool. And so what happens is I'm downstairs and he tells the people in the crowd that, okay, we're going to get Isaac to come on. And he thinks this is a real dark, like dingy sort of crowd. And it was actually like a bit of a charity sort of show, and people who had never been to stand up before were encouraged to come along. And I had no idea. And so what he told them, he said, do not laugh at anything he says. Do not interact with him, nothing.
This guy, see where this is going.
So I start going out there and doing just the most heinous shit, horrible shit. You know, the Christchurch massacre joke. I do the I do Aboriginal material. I do the whole thing. And these people are just like, this chick's looking at me like, what? Do you have anything funny to tell? And I'm like, I looked at, like, she's right in front of me. There's 6 people in the room. I was like, you have never laughed at anything in your life, have you? You are a miserable cunt. And she looked at me like I had just fucking, like, just, I don't know, assaulted a grandmother, and the whole crowd turns against me. I'm like, nah, fuck yous. You are the worst people that ever lived. I get heap shitty with them. They start booing me, throwing ice cubes at me, and I'm like, fucking hell. And so Kyle walks on the stage and says, no, this is, I told him not to laugh. And I'm like, nah, fuck yous. And I've walked out, and he's come down and he said, mate, I told him not to laugh. I was like, well, I didn't know that. I've just gone and abused all these fucking people who have paid charity money to come and see the show. And
that's amazing.
So there is, the point of the story is, there is times where you just can't dig yourself out of that hole, and the way to get out of it is just to walk off stage and never return.
Yeah. And think about the next show, because you're always going to offend someone. That's the thing with comedy, bro. If you haven't offended someone, I don't think your job was done.
No, I know. I know. It's not fun.
You know what I'm trying to say. Not offended someone, like you know, like when you go to a comedy show, like, I don't feel offended, but I'm like, oh, that's on the cusp. But I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's comedy. You know, you need to be able to laugh at things. Just like I laugh at myself for being a retard every day. That's the thing. You have to be able to have a giggle about shit. If you can't, fuck off. Fucking lighten up somewhere else, cunt. Go fucking rub your fucking mother's back and, you know, do something stupid in your life. Lighten the fuck up, cunt.
People take themselves way too seriously, and it's not a good attitude. It's not a good attitude.
Oh, man.
Because as soon as you do something that's not, you know, your normal sort of hard man attitude, and particularly with men, you lose yourself. If something goes wrong in your life, you'll lose yourself, and you can't find a way around it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, you know, we can both admit I've never had that problem. I've never been live on a stage. I reckon I could stand up and make cunts laugh, though, and just ticking them asking questions.
Why don't you do it?
Yeah, well, see, maybe that's what I go and do. There you go. There we answered my question. Maybe I'll do that in the future.
Why don't you write, how about this? I'm coming to New Zealand at some point next year when I can fucking travel again. Why don't you come and open for me?
Jesus, cunt, that'll be crack up.
Do 5 minutes.
Let me think about it. Yeah, I know.
There's no pressure at all.
I want to, but then thinking about it now just makes me so nervous. I'm like, I don't think I could do it. Everyone, once I get out there, I just yell and scream at cunts. Be funny, me and Jack doing it. Jack is really good at holding a crowd. Ironically, for the one that talks the most, it's usually me. And when we're on the piss, I usually hold the conversations and he's pissed as. But, you know, it's just like, yeah, I'd love to do something like that, but it'd have to be with a friend. I'd be so nervous. I probably wouldn't even be able to talk. But that's a bridge we'll get over.
Mate, it's scary. I freak out before every show. My big fear is that I'll have a seizure on stage. Like that, I'm terrified of it. Every time, I'm terrified of it.
At least that's good comedy.
Yeah, if I hit the deck.
Imagine the videos you could post online of that.
I know.
Well, anyway, I have a video to show you cunts. I had a seizure on my comedy show. Take a look at this fucking bullshit. There's you jumping around on the ground. Yep, I mean, that was in front of 200 people. How crack up is that shit? There's fucking 2 million views. As much as it is your fan, no one's going to be like, oh, this cunt's having a seizure. That's crack up ass. They're going to be like, holy shit, this fella's having a seizure. That's crack up. Like, that's unreal.
And then if you can get up and finish the show, that's where the fucking...
If you're not tired,
then you're a legend.
Yeah. Are you usually tired after a seizure? Good question.
So I haven't had one in...
Sorry, that might
3 or 4 years.
Well, that's not
And
bad. Yeah.
so all that happens, right? All that happens is I lose control of my eyes and they point to the left side and my head gets stuck like that and I can't move my head. I'm completely conscious throughout, lasts for about 12 seconds and then I'm back to normal.
Unreal.
Really weird.
Must
So
be
it's a
scary,
frontal
eh?
lobe epilepsy. It's actually, I call it epilepsy because it's easier to explain. It's actually a movement disorder that's very similar. And so I just call it that because it makes more sense to people than explaining the whole thing. But I mean, it's a strange thing, and it's something I sort of try and hide. But the more, as you said, the more you fucking open about it, more people understand, and they just get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you talk about that in your shows where you're like, I have epilepsy or no?
Yeah.
Oh, about to say, to roast yourself and be open about yourself is probably the best comedy in the world.
It actually
you can laugh
removes.
at yourself, bro.
Yeah.
It breaks the fucking ice pretty much immediately. You know.
And I walk on and I have enormous anxiety and freaking out about it, and then I talk about it, and then I let people know, and it's all good from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess it's similar with you when you start your videos and you introduce yourself as someone with Tourette's.
Yep. And you just got to own it. If you don't own it, you're a bitch. Best way to put it, bro. Yeah, if you don't own something that you're going to struggle with for the rest of your life, well, not so much struggle. You just have to learn to own it and grab it by the balls, bro. That's the best way to put it. And a lot of people out there that watch this, if they have Tourette's as well, my best advice I can give you is don't be so sheltered all your life. Get out there and enjoy life because fucking it's so much fun. Oh my God. Once you accept yourself for who you are, get out there, fuck some bitches, do whatever you want to do in your life, my brothers and sisters. Just have fun with your life, man. Don't sit there and dwell on stupid shit because it's not going to change. It'll never change. You might as well own it.
Exactly. Especially if you can't, if it's not something you can't trim your hair, cut your hair or something and just get rid of it. If it's something like what you have or I have, you may as well just own it. I was going to ask you a question about
Justin Ryan. Sorry, that was a bad one.
No, not about Justin Ryan.
Fuck it. I knew that was going to come out.
Dude, this young man, I've seen him on TikTok. He was crying, talking to some girl the other night. He needs to stop. I mean, I worry.
Justin?
Yeah, I worry about that young dude.
I do as well. Hence the fact I stopped talking about him.
You got to.
I still get a lot of comments. No. I'll openly talk about it on here though. I don't hate the kid. I think he's a good kid, but he's just, and I know he's challenged like myself. I know that he hasn't. I'm not going to say he's not all there, but I know that he has problems like myself. And the thing is that I think that his social media is his way out, but he does it the wrong way. Now I worry about him too. Hence the fact I stopped roasting him. I turned all my comments off. He started that whole thing, bro. It was not me. He was bullying people online. I called him out. He knew who I was, and I was like, "This is what you used to do to Jimmy," and he took that as a whack across his head. I was just like, no, I'm in here being a good cunt. Like, you don't have to be a dick about it. And honestly, man, I feel so sorry for that kid. Hence the fact I stopped talking about him. People ever ask me about him, I'll be like, yeah, he's a fucking dick, but I don't hate him. You know, he's got things going on in his life as well. And I understand that. I understand that now. But man, back then I just wanted to punch him in the face for a good cause. I wanted to do it for charity, and do it. Fight me, bro. Come over here, train up, bro. Get yourself a trainer. I'll train up and let's have a fight. Let's do it properly. But I got so much backlash for that. I was just like, this cunt's been mocking me on the internet for 6 months. And then when I finally talk about it, everyone whacks me down. And my manager's like, you have to be the bigger person here. I'm like, oh, well, I did. I ended up being the big person. But I agree with you. I agree with you there, Butters. I think it's a bad thing. And he needs to sort himself out.
He's a young dude with whatever his issue is, whether it's Asperger's or something like that. And
I think it is, bro. I actually think it is,
I'm pretty sure that's what he's got going on. And as we all know, autism's a spectrum. But
it is very.
He as you to your point, he tries to find internet drama and stuff like that, and I don't think it'll end well. And I think he's made so many videos about me, and I've never talked about it because I don't want to give it any attention because it's not going to be good for him. It's not going to end well, and all this hate and shit and comments and stuff that he gets, it doesn't feed ego. It doesn't make him money. It doesn't do any of those type of things. It's just it's going to end up really bad, and I don't think that. I think he needs to, if he does listen to this, you're a young dude, mate, and you obviously you know how to work social media.
We don't hate
the way
you either.
do. I don't hate anyone.
I don't hate anyone. I hate a couple people in my life, but when I say a couple, I only mean like 1 or 2 people in my life that have fucking tried to ruin my life. And I hate people like that. But I don't hate that dude. I think he's got the right mind. It's just he needs to get off the internet sometimes, bro. And yeah, I actually feel sorry for him, bro. And if I could help him, I would. Even though he messaged me, he apologized and everything. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm here to help you, man. And I'm sure a lot of other people as well that are very influential and very well known will help you as well. It's just you need to stop bullying people, bro. Because when they retaliate, when people like me retaliate, and I send a couple million views your way, it's gonna get 10 times worse.
Yeah,
And I don't want to do that. That's not the role. But it's just that I have to stand up for myself. Otherwise, I look like a bitch. I will never do that again. I learned my lesson. But oh man, I mean, what do you do? What can you do, Isaac? What do you do?
The problem with that young dude is, people aren't laughing with him.
No,
and I think that's really harmful for someone, particularly that young. You can see him hanging around all these people, like he's on the live streams with that Luke Irwin dude and all that type of stuff, who's another person who just goes out and calls people out, and that's their career. And I understand why they do that, because it gains attention and stuff. And I just don't think unless you're a certain personality, then that just doesn't it doesn't end well. So that's all I'll say on that young bloke. I wanted to ask you a question. About
Go ahead,
Maori culture, and I wanted to know how. What's your sort of background with? Are you a Maori? Is that your? Yep.
Hang on, bro. I'll show you, bro. I got a mean moko, which is called it's a tamoko, all up my arm.
Aye.
Took 17 and a half hours to get, bro, with all my Tourette's and everything. I was shattered by the end of it. But yeah, bro, it's mean, G. It's my family on my arm.
Mate, there's a lot of white dudes walking around Newcastle where I live with similar fucking tribal tats, and they look like assholes.
Oh, bro, this is mean, G. Honestly,
I like that.
I've yet to see. There's heaps of mean artists in New Zealand that can do really mean moko. If you come when I meet you, you'll be able to see the depth of detail in the lining. But yeah, bro, it's mean as. But yeah, I'm a Māori, bro. Yep, I was born.
I've got a few Māori mates, and I've always been fascinated with the relationship between white Kiwis and Māori Kiwis. How it's a lot more respectful, and it seems to be a lot more calm than the relationship between white Australians and Aboriginal Australians. And I made a video about the Australia Day conversation about let's just fucking pick a new day and try and work out a way where
I knew you were going to say that,
where white people can just sort of like understand that ancestors did horrible things, grandpas, maybe even your parents, but we just need to sort of set a date and start fresh, because this racial divide is just fucking horrible. I hate it.
Yeah. So I've got a story for you. Actually, I'll answer your question first. Over here in New Zealand, we still have racism, but I feel it's way more stronger. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just oblivious to that sort of stuff. But over in Australia, I feel it's 10 times worse, bro. And that's because I feel it's a lot to do with Australia Day, bro. They don't respect the Aborigines like I feel, in my opinion, they should. Change the day, bro. That's the invasion days. It's not a day to celebrate. Like, how cunty is that? I mean, there's racism over here. I'm not going to say we're perfect, but bro, I feel that we get along with each other. I'm a half caste. I'm Pakeana, Māori as well. I'm not going to go out and judge anyone for their color of their skin or anything like that, or anything. We live in unison. But I've got a cool story for you. My iwi, which is called Ngāti Maniapoto, which is the King Country here in beautiful New Zealand. We just finally got our settlement back from the government. Now, that's when they give millions of dollars back to your iwi for the reparation that happened 200, 150 years ago for what happened. So we're getting a big settlement right now. But you know what I think, bro? This is going to buzz you out. Maybe even it's the same for the Aborigine people as well. Do you know our biggest enemies? Do you know who the biggest enemy is?
Who's that?
It's yourselves. It's not yourself. It's ourselves. Sorry, there we go. Thanks, brother. It's ourselves. It's our own people. We are the biggest enemy of ourselves, man. Like, we argue about what should be and what should, blah, 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 like some people don't want the settlement from the government. I personally do. I think it's a movement everywhere. Okay, the government are giving reparation back to us for what we lost. Yes, it can't give back our generation and our tupuna what they lost, but at the same time, it can help fix what we lost, so it can bring more education into Māori people. It can bring in new land. They're giving us over like $170 million to one iwi in New Zealand. It's one of the largest things they're giving back. But there's a lot of whānau out there, a lot of, whāngai that don't want that. They're like, no, we're still upset and sore with what happened to our tūpuna, our ancestors. I'm like, okay, that's understandable. I respect that. But when's the moment? When do we move forward? When do we go, okay, yeah, we respect that now. When do we move forward? When are you going to stop being so sad about that? Like, we probably never will. I'm like, well, that's not the right look at it. Just like language is supposed to change, I think people are supposed to change as well, and we're supposed to move with the tides. And yep, I agree. It was a bad thing back in the day. What happened? No, hey, Māori weren't perfect. We did this and we did that to their people. They did that and this to our people. We're both as bad as each other. You know what I mean? We just have to accept it. I know more things happen to our beautiful Māori people, but it's like, when do we finally accept and go, okay, I accept the Crown's decision. Thank you so much for offering back with what happened. Let's rebuild and help out all our people. We've got all this money now. We can go and give new education to our kids, build new schools to help our kids out. So that's happening right now on my iwi right now. And they sign it off in like a week and a half. You'll see videos go up on my Instagram page over the next week about talking about trying to go and make our younger kids, our teenagers, vote for what they want. Do you want to help your grandchildren and your kids? That sort of shit. So yeah, I mean, it's a long road in our country with that sort of stuff, that whole racism thing. How do we grow as people? But hey, I guess it's one small step at a time, eh?
Yeah. And on the point of Australia Day, I think one of the reasons you see pushback by white people is because a lot of people sit here and they go, and I've been guilty of this, hey, I didn't do I haven't done anything. And I think blaming all white people is a pretty racist sort of way of looking at things.
It is.
And
I 100% agree with that.
I think that's why a lot of people are like, no, don't change the date because I didn't do anything. And I sort of sit at that, and I thought like that for a long time. And then I thought, listen, if the day I celebrate and get pissed on and celebrate the great country that I love, if that same day there's an Aboriginal woman who's 80 years old sitting there crying because white people, she sees it as we stole either her children or we did something horrible to her parents or her grandparents, and she sees that as the day that marks it, then fucking change it.
Change it. What are we still doing here talking about it? Why hasn't it been changed yet?
Just change it, because there has to be a point where you just go, mate, let's just start again, and we need to understand and respect Aboriginal culture, and Aboriginal people need to look at white people and go, listen, look, I'm not here to hurt anyone. I want everyone to have the same abilities, responsibilities, and
I agree.
things that they can achieve within their life. And if you live up in, the Northern Territory, and you live in a small community out there, a small mob out there, like you don't have the ability to go out and get proper medical care, or you don't have the ability to go and do this or go and do that, or education. We need to find ways to deal with that. We need to find ways, and the fucking racial divide is where it starts. And
it's massive too, bro. It's so segregated. It's not even funny.
It's shit.
It's
I
very
fucking hate
segregated.
it.
Yep. It's embarrassing to look at, actually.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, the way that I look at the white New Zealand culture and how it mixes with Maori culture, I feel that it is it's, as you said, not perfect, but it's definitely a case study for Australian people to look at white, black, in different, whatever you fucking are, and go, okay, this is how they're doing it. They're respectful. They understand that both cultures come together and you have to live as one. If you live in a house where you're in a share house, you live with a couple of mates, and you treat one of your mates like shit because he comes from a poor background, then you're not going to get along. You have to find middle ground. And that's what we're living. We're all living in the same house, just a big house.
Yeah. That's true. You do see a lot of racial divide though, especially within the boomers here in Aotearoa. Like before the Olympics, there was things posted up about New Zealand, Aotearoa at the Olympics. How do you think they're going to go? And bro, honestly, all the comments are just from white people going, it's not Aotearoa. My country is New Zealand. And it's just like, wow. And it's just like, this is unbelievable. Like, and a lot of the young kids, a lot of the kids my age and people around like our era and Gen Z, they wouldn't say that. It's just the boomers, bro. it's the boomers that go out of their way to comment shit. All the Karens and the Michaels and the old guys, out there, the Barrys. Oh, no, yeah. No, see, our country will always be known as New Zealand. I'm like, no, you're wrong. And then these are the same cunts that are messaging like breakfast shows in the morning going, I'm really upset with how much Māori terms you use, If Māori want their own terms to be used, they should go and do it on their own on their own channels. I'm like, can you not see what you're doing? You're dividing us yet again. And like, I saw this one. It's like, oh man, how we celebrate Māori Language Week, which is like once a year. There's people out there like, oh, we're sick of hearing Māori. They have their 1 week a year. I'm just like, mate, there should be no Māori Language Week. Māori should be celebrated 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just blows me away.
Does it need to be celebrated, or is it just the normal sort of just your day to day? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it should be celebrated. I still think it should be celebrated because it's an amazing language because it's shorted here in New Zealand.
Okay, fair enough. My point being not that it shouldn't be celebrated, but that it just should be just how, if you want to talk like that, then that's your thing, kia ora. Is that the right way to say that?
Oh, yeah, kia ora. Yeah, that's pretty much the same, bro. You got really nice pronunciation, actually, for someone that probably hasn't ever said it in their life.
No, well, mate, when I was in NZ, I was over there, and every time I said hello to someone, kia ora, kia ora.
Yeah, just do it, bro.
When I say Māori, I always say Māori.
Yeah,
I try and say it.
See, the difference here, bro, you're going out of your way to try, which is amazing. And I'll correct you if you're wrong. But there's a lot of people, bro, that they just, no, that's not my language. My language is English of this country. And it's just like, oh, my God.
Mate, you give it a go.
But anyway, that vicious circle, bro?
Yeah.
A vicious circle of horrible hate, all because of skin color.
It's garbage. And that's what I always try and talk about. And I get called racist all the time because I bring this shit up. But my general message is if we can just fucking get along and find a way to do it, we're always going to have disagreements and shit. But the more that you focus on skin color, and I get focusing on your culture and understanding where your family comes from. And I think that's fine. I think that's important. And I love that my family comes from Scotland and Ireland, right? I love that. Beautiful. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. The stories and the history that they have.
There, mate.
You know what I mean? And you've got your side of the family that comes from one part of the world and another that comes from another and all that type of stuff. Like we're allowed to have that love for where our history and our culture comes from. And as soon as you tell people that they're not allowed to have that, then it's just shit house and it just doesn't get anywhere. But brother, I wanted to thank you for coming on today. I want to invite you along to have 5 minutes open up for me next year. You've got plenty of time. No stress in the world if you don't want to do it, but the invite is there.
I'll let you know what I feel. I'm nervous thinking about it now, but hey, maybe I'll pick up my balls and just do it, bro, and have fun with it.
We'll see how we go, but we'll catch up regardless. And when you're in Australia, you're very welcome to come to my home, and we're setting up a new studio too. We're building it at the moment, and when restrictions ease, it'll be great to have you over.
Yeah, I'd love to come over here and drink all your piss behind you, cunt.
Uncle Tics, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, brother, for coming on. I'll talk to you
brother.
soon.
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. We'll see you later. Toodle au revoir. Oh, fucking check us out on Spotify too.
Go check us out, you fucking cunts.
You fucking dogs. All right. Toodle au revoir. Bye-bye.